in Bonfire, you're going to log in and you're going to see your procurement portal. Now, again, if you have not registered for Bonfire, I suggest everybody download this manual. It's a step-by-step. It's 26 pages long. We've tried to shorten it to make it more user-friendly for you. This manual is divided into 4 different sections. So the first part is going to be the registration for applicants. Then the second part is going to be how to log in and information. And then the third part is completing your application or your submission. And then we provided a checklist for you to give you an opportunity to print that out as many times as you need so you can make sure that you have all of those documents. So this is our webpage. We are adding the trainings to this, so these are available there along with the manual. And then, of course, if you have any questions, there is my contact information, so you can send me an email. So this first part is going to have you and walk you through the process to register for Bonfire and become a vendor. That's what they identify as service providers, is they call them vendors. So I know this sounds a little different, but don't be afraid of going through the system and following all of these steps. But it seems like everybody here has already registered, so we don't have to really continue with that right now. What you're going to look to is you're going to want to look at signing in. So this is going to be the application login. Hopefully you guys have saved the login information from last time. If not, it's easy to get to. You can just refer to that link that was at the very top, and you're going to enter your email address and password. If you're creating or you're taking over for somebody who has left the position, it would be really great for you to create a whole new login and create your own password. So once you log in, you're going to see something like this. This is a procurement portal, and you're going to want to look at open public opportunities. Right now, I just have this one visible, but you should have the new construction, planning and design, renovation, code compliance, and new addition, and then as well as meals equipment and vehicles and equipment. But I really want to quickly go over what planning and design phase means, because during the last legislative session and through our hearings, we were asked to kind of make sure to phase out our projects. And that means breaking out planning and design separate from new construction, because to get a project completed from planning and design until fully constructed is really difficult to get done in 3.5 years. So they want us to break these into phases. So the first one is going to be planning and design, and that covers the initial planning and design work for the senior center projects. It must be completed before you can apply for new construction or renovation phases. New construction applicants must have successfully completed a planning and design phase before applying for new construction. Schematics or plans have to be attached to support the application. And then with renovation and code compliance new addition, planning and design, of course, must be completed prior to applying unless there's proof that this step is not necessary. Let's say the renovations are going to be for a bathroom. Obviously, you don't need to have planning and design for those unless you're going to completely move it from one end of the facility to the other. But renovations can include roof or HVAC replacements, additions of generators, or any repairs that happen to building systems. Then we have meals equipment and other equipment. This category includes commercial kitchen equipment, gym equipment, tables and chairs, and other similar items that support senior center operations. Vehicles and equipment, covered vehicles include hot and cold truck meal transport vehicles, as well as transportation vehicles for seniors. Applicants must provide a current listing of all vehicles in their fleet. So if you're applying for vehicles, you want to replace 5 of them, we do look at the year, we look at the mileage and the condition that they're in. As we go through this, I can't stress enough that when you're answering that narrative, you need to show us what your need is for this, whether it be for a new addition. Why is there the need? Is it an increase in senior participation? Is it an increase in meal production? All of those things are very necessary for us to review, as Legislative Finance Committee also reviews our applications. So just make sure you're taking some time and thinking out a well-thought response to your narrative, as it is the one question that is worth the most within your application set. Okay, I don't see any questions so far. So you're going to go ahead and each one of these you should see open, and then you should see the project, and then you're going to want to view the opportunity. So these are just the project details. This tells you that the status is currently open. It gives you the date that it opens, and it's going to give you the date that it closes. It's going to tell you that these are the important dates. These are the supporting documents. I've attached the manual is available here. I have to log in or register for a bonfire account, so I'm not sure why I'm not seeing that, but I apologize. You should be able to view the application manual here. And then if you remember last year, we had 2 question sets that you had to complete, facility and fiscal question set, and then the actual application question set. We've incorporated all those fiscal and facility questions into this application set. I apologize. I'm not sure why suddenly is everybody else hearing the echo, or is it just me?
Just you.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. That's why I stuttered on that, so I apologize. So the difference with this year is we've taken all of that fiscal and facility question set and incorporated them into requested information. The other change is that we've identified a way for you to have multiple submissions under one application type. So let's say you're applying for 3 senior centers, all for new construction. You can complete a submission for each one of those using the same question set or using the same login information. Crystal, I'm going to go ahead and if you can mute yourself, I think that's where I'm getting, for whatever reason, I'm getting feedback, but I'm just going to make sure everybody's muted. Unless you have a question. Does somebody have a question? Okay, so proceeding, now what you're going to see is the information is going to be required, but you're going to see here that this says unique per alternate. And that means that an alternate is going to be considered Senior Center 1, Senior Center 2, Senior Center 3. If you're only responsible for one senior center, you don't have to worry about this. But for those that are responsible for applying for multiple senior centers, this is going to be information that you're going to need to list. So we would list all of our applicant name, title, email address, and applicant address would all be required because that's going to be the same for all of the senior centers. And then the facility name is going to be unique per submission. So you're going to see that all of these have that opportunity listing as unique per alternative. And we go ahead and ask specific questions through here. Then you're going to see that we have required documents. We're going to have the planning and design. We're going to need those. They're going to need to be uploaded as a PDF file. The question set is going to be an Excel spreadsheet. We're going to see that the certifying letter is going to be a PDF. The ICIP is going to need to be a PDF. Is everyone familiar with what a PDF is? Okay. Now I want to go through just really quick. Thank you. I want to go through and discuss the certifying letter, what it is, and the ICIP. The certifying letter is going to be from your council or from your leadership that is aware that you're applying for these for this application or applications and kind of gives their nod of approval. The ICIP is an infrastructure capital improvement plan. This has to do, it doesn't come from our department, it actually comes from DFA, and it's reviewed by DFA legislators, LFC, Legislative Finance Committee, because they want to look at, have a type of a plan to see what's going to be coming down, what people are going to be applying for within the next 3 to 5 years. This is a great opportunity for you to be meeting with your leadership, with your finance, your council, your governor, whoever it is that is going to help you determine these applications to place your senior center and those application requests on this ICIP. So if you're applying for new construction and it's not on your ICIP, there's going to be a problem with that because we want to make sure that you're listing it on your ICIP. Yes, go ahead, Winston.
Yeah, so when we submit our ICIP, do we do that in the new CAP system and then upload it onto the portal?
So I don't know how you upload it into the portal, but I do know you're going to keep a copy of that and submit it. You're going to upload it to the documents like you have in the past for the application. So I'll show you how to upload those documents, but you'll save it as a PDF and then upload it for those.
Okay, so we'll be using the CAP system now moving forward.
Not for us. For DFA and how they want their ICIP, yes. But when you upload it to CAPS, doesn't mean that we will necessarily see it. So we're going to have every applicant upload it with their application submission.
Is there a separate CAPS login ID that you're gonna provide us, like they did in the
So,
past for CPMS?
so, well, now we don't have CPMS, even though I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually missed that. I like referring to it for historical information. But now the CAP system, you should be in contact with DFA. I can give you information after the training on who to contact, but that's not through us. The CAPS or any of the DFA portal, that's going to be directly through DFA that you're going to get that login information. And I can give you that web link so then you can request username and access. But for our purposes, when you complete your ICIP, you're going to attach a copy of that to your application here. And then the budget identifying ongoing maintenance is just showing that you have a funding source for deferred maintenance, whether it be for the building, the vehicles, or warranties, because we don't pay for warranties in any of our capital outlay. So we need to make sure that the entities are your fiscal agents are providing some deferred maintenance. Then
I
of
know
course
they did close the CAP system last 2 weeks ago, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to upload our capital outlay apps ISIP in the CAP system. I know we did update our ISIP information in CAPS for our regular um, capital outlay to DFA, but yeah, we didn't upload any of our Elder Center capital outlay. So yeah, maybe I'll just talk to CAPS. Maybe they can open the
yeah,
portal again.
Scott Wright or yeah, any of those will be able to help, but just go ahead and make sure it's completed when you upload it for us.
Thank you.
Sure. And then the last thing is going to be the applicable quotes and cost estimates for application type. These are really important. So I can't stress enough that I need you to make sure that this is from a legitimate company. If they're handwritten, they will not be acceptable. So just make sure if you're going to submit quotes and cost estimates, if you're asking for 800,000 for meals equipment, but I have a quote for 20,000, I need to know what the rest of the funding is going to go for, because we are being asked these questions from Legislative Finance Committee along with the rest of the reviewers for the application. Your application goes through 3 different cycles of scoring from DFA, from your non-metro or AAA, and then internally from the project coordinator that oversees your area. So we really want to make sure you have concrete information. Now, with that, I am aware that costs are rising and it takes almost a year and a half for some of these. This will be a GOB funding, so that's a year and a half. So I understand that you're going to be placing your information. You might want to add 15% to that, and we'll make note of that. So make sure that if you're getting a budget that's 250, add 15 to 20% to that, because we are seeing a lot of entities that are seeing rising costs. Hopefully those will come down, but that's the best way I can get everyone to be prepared. So you can go in, we're going to go ahead. So I'm going to log in. For some reason, it's not letting me. Oh, let me just go over here. So let me see if I'm logged in over here. No, it's still not liking me. Give me just a moment. Now, you guys don't have to do this additional authentication code. It's because I am an administrator that I get the fun task of providing an extra code. So don't worry, nobody else has to do that, just me. Here we go. Okay, so here's where you're going to see that you're going to download this question set. And then I believe above I had some documents. So here's that manual that I had mentioned that you can download. So it's available. It's on our website, but in case you forget and you're in the middle of through the application, you can go ahead and download it here. So I'm going to download this. It's going to come up. We're going to go in. Once it opens, you're going to have to enable editing. So I strongly recommend that everybody save it a specific way. There's a naming type. I don't know where the Excel spreadsheet opened. So give me just a moment. Ever since I did that new Windows update, I've been noticing some things. Okay, so we're just going to kind of proceed. If you go further down, this is going to be any notices. If you have any questions or messages, this is where you would post those. And then you're going to see under submissions, there's prepare, work in progress, and completed. So I've already completed one. I'm going to be working on continuing a submission for this one, or I can prepare an alternate. So that's why you're going to see alternate 2 here. Once you've completed your question set, once you've gotten all of the additional information that's being requested, then we're going to work on our submission. But first, I want to go through the application really quickly. This will give a step-by-step. So whatever I just showed you on my screen scrolling through, it's still here. So don't worry, she's going too fast. No, you can go ahead, and I'm a visual learner. So I tried to make sure that you guys, whatever I'm discussing, you can see all of this information. But one of the parts I wanted to get to is when you download, you're going to want to save it, download at the top right corner, click on download. You're going to want to go in and it's going to say enable editing. So save the question set in an easily accessible folder, whether that's on your desktop or in your downloads, however you want to save that, and then use the following naming convention. So I want you to put the application type, so that's new construction or planning and design, the name of the facility, so Senior Center 1, the grantee for us would be, that's your fiscal agent. So let's say it's going to be Aging and Long-Term Services or the City of Santa Fe or the Village of Acoma or Pueblo of Acoma. And then you're going to put, so it's going to look something like this. This was just an example. The reason I suggest you doing this is it'll make sure that your information isn't getting confused. This last year, we noticed that we had applications that had one senior center, another senior center. So this is one way to help you guys make sure that your submissions are going to be complete. Like last year, if your application is reviewed for completeness, and we give you 48 hours to correct those. If they're not corrected, then your application won't move on to the next stage of scoring. So that's why it's really important to make sure your documents are easily accessible. So you want to complete the question set for each senior center separately. Be sure to start with the original downloaded question set each time to ensure the questions remain accurate and unaltered. Well, I need to go in and change that for every senior center. Compile the required documents for each senior center application and same them with the same naming convention. So again, let's say this is ICIP, Senior Center 1, so forth and so on. And then when we get to those, let me try and find out again why this isn't letting me download, which is really interesting. If you guys have started this and you haven't noticed any issues with it, please let me know. But if you have, I need to know if there's any problems with you guys opening any of the spreadsheets. So for some reason, I had to just go to my downloads to open it. So when you download it, you're going to see that it's going to say enable editing. You're going to want to click on that. Again, you're going to want to go in and save as. So we're going to save this part as new construction. Senior Center, Senior Center 1, and then the fiscal agent is Aging and Long-Term Services Department. I'm going to want to save this to another area. So I'm going to save this. I have a folder that I created to make this easier. So I have Senior Center 2 and Senior Center 1. This is Senior Center 1, and I'm going to create a new folder, new construction, and then I'm going to have that saved within that. So once we go through these, you're going to see 2 to 3 tabs. The first is just going to be instructions on how to complete this. The second is going to be a summary page. There's 11 questions on this, and it'll tell you the percentage of where you're at to complete this project. If you go through, you're going to see that the first question is always going to be the facility name. So it's going to be Senior Center 1. The amount that the request is going to be new construction. So that's going to be $1,500,000. Project summary. Again, this is where I'm asking that everybody take a concerted effort, slow down, think about what this is, make sure to read through all of this, the amount of the funding, the project goals, how progress toward these goals will be measured, specific services that are going to be enhanced, outline the potential consequences if funding is not awarded, including impact on those who would benefit from the project. So you're going to enter your narrative here. You're going to see every time I complete a question, it comes over and gives you a complete. Now, you can also see that this has a line through it, so it means you need to enter something in the comment stage. If you don't see one, it's a drop down. Unfortunately, you still have to enter in the comments, so I really apologize for that. It's a quirk I haven't been able to figure out, so you'll have to enter twice here. So will planning and design be required? Yes, it's completed and will be attached. When was planning and design completed? This is just going to be an information of like a date. Was it 2 years ago? Is it still ongoing? So that way we can identify if there's going to be any issues. Firm that completed that, we want to know the name of company, ABC Construction. That's probably the name of a construction company, probably. Here I'm going to break this out so it's one question for each of these, but I want a project budget addressing these different components, the amount allocated for the architect or engineer, construction, renovation, code compliance, or other. And then again, remember, please, that warranties are not included in the budget. So I'd want to see like a breakdown of it's going to be $138,000 for the architect, and then so forth and so on. We need to be able to see the rest of the breakdown. Have you met with your elected officials to plan this project? Why do you think we asked this question? Anyone? I'll go ahead and tell you guys. It's on the quiz. We want to make sure that you're communicating these projects to your elected officials, not only to your mayor and your city council, your commission, or your governing body, but also to the state legislators and representatives, because when these bills come forward during the legislative session, it's really important that they're aware that your entity is applying for funding so they can make sure to vote for these projects. So that's one of the reasons we want them to be they're fighting for you to make sure that you get funding for this. And you can list if you want to, just to let us know. Did you upload cost estimates? Again, you're going to put a yes, no, but unfortunately, I apologize. You still have to complete this. And if you notice, I typed something here, but it was saying it was incomplete. It's because I needed to do the box here. What is the time for completion? This would be a year, like a date. So we would be hoping to have a grand opening in 2029. It's really hard to think of that far in the future, but That's what we would need. Did you upload documentation that there is a ongoing budget commitment or ongoing maintenance and repair? This can be a screenshot of your budget just to show us that there's a line item for that. I would hope that there's money in there, but we are being requested to make sure that those fiscal agents, your entities, are providing deferred maintenance for the buildings, for the roofs, for all of those things to make sure that the capital outlay funds last as long as possible. So once you're complete, you're going to see right here that it says 100% complete. If we go here, you're going to see that it's complete with no errors. So I'm going to save. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to prepare an additional submission. Any questions right now? Okay, if there's none, I'm going to proceed. So when you complete your submission, remember there was some required information. When you register, it's going to be, this is the information that's going to have you identified as your vendor. Really quick before we go through, you're going to notice a few things. One, this says required and unique per alternate. And two, you're going to see there's a red dot, and then you're going to see save and cancel. It's really important that you guys are, when you're entering your information, that you have to hit save. Once you hit save, you're going to see that this button, this little radio, turns to green. That's what we want. So each one of these, you're going to go through, you're going to save. I've been here a year and a half and I still don't have my phone number memorized. Is it managed by a nonprofit? Nope. What sources of funding were used? Capital outlay, DFA. They gave us 180,000 for planning and design. We are going to want as much information for this. Another information or question that's going to be asked that hasn't been added but will be added is we're going to want to know if you currently have any projects for the senior center. We're going to want the project numbers, the reversion date, the amount that you were appropriated, and your balance and the status of where you're at. Right now, we're seeing that really high amounts left in capital outlay across all divisions. And they really want us to spend down those funds before we request further funding for those entities. So your current projects will be evaluated and be part of the scoring moving forward to identify if you're spending down appropriately as per your grant agreement, or it may be denied because you have funds and you're not spending those funds in a timely manner. So it's really important to make sure if you do have funding that you're spending it down appropriately. What repairs improvements? Recently had roof repaired due to hail damage. I know everybody can appreciate that. And restuccoed. Restuccoed. Is that how you spell stuccoed? Not succoed. Stuccoed. I don't know how to spell that. But this is where you would go through and give us examples of what's been replaced. Let's say there was a water main break. Anything and all information is going to be helpful for us to know where you're at with your senior center, so we can make sure that we're aware of any ongoing problems to make sure you get that funding. This is 1,234 square feet. No need larger kitchen or increased meals, congregant meals. We also want to be advised, we asked this question because we're thinking in the future if you guys are going to need additional funds for an expansion or a whole new senior center, which is where this kind of comes into. Built in 1960, older building with structural issues. And you can continue on and give us a history of what's going on with your senior center. everybody tells us that, you know, we'll need further renovations. We know we're continuing to grow. How many seniors do we have? We get a daily. So I think we're going to have 267 that come visit us. Then we're going to see, does the local government provide operating staff? Yes. If no, now here's a new one. This one's yellow and says optional. So if you answered no to this, we'd like you to answer the next question. Please explain. Now, you will need to continue and save this. Otherwise, we won't see the answer to that. Now, if you don't need to answer it, then you don't have to worry about it. Lists all sources of other program funding and the status of each source. So I know we have some individuals get grant fundings or AAA, non-metro, local, or in kind. Let's say you have a farmer donates beef each year. You could list if you receive donations or you get volunteers who provide in-kind services. If you're not sure how to fill this out, feel free to reach out to us and we can help you with that. Have you met with your fiscal agent to plan procurement if this project is approved? If you're asking for 1.35 million, we want to make sure that the fiscal agent is aware and has planned for that because the senior centers or the fiscal agents have to pay up front and then they submit a request for reimbursement so they can get paid back. We do not give you all of the funding. You have to go through the process to get that. Manager available. Some entities do have staff for that. Most of you guys are the project coordinators. You're the bus drivers. You're the one person, many hats. So I'm aware of that, but we're trying to find out also if you're getting any support. So that way, if not, we can make sure to double up in support for you. Is staff prepared to comply with all reporting requirements? Previously, it used to be CPMS. Now it's going to be in caps that you guys need to make sure that you're going to report. These are very specific in your capital outlay grant agreements as you're receiving those. And then if we go through here, it's going to be asking for planning and design. I forgot to set up mock documents, so you're just going to see me attach some documents, so I apologize, but for this sake, we should be okay. First, I'm going to set up the new question set, so I'm going to upload that file. And it gives you another opportunity here to download it in case you didn't upload it. No comment on how many folders I have. I know it's an issue. We're going to go to Senior Center 1, and then we're going to see this new construction, and I have my document there. So I'm going to upload it. If everything's cool, you're going to see a green light and a check mark. I'm just going to upload some documents, so I apologize. Again, I forgot. I think I accidentally deleted some information, so I did not do that. So we're just going to upload. So imagine it's the planning and design blueprints. But again, you're going to see check mark and green. We're going to upload the certifying letter. Now, this might be the same certifying letter that you're going to have for your meals and equipment. Just make sure that it doesn't say meals and equipment and you have the proper senior center number listed on that. Your ICIP, again, you should be uploading this. It's going to be for all of them. So it might be a bulk upload for your ICIP, but again, make sure it's listed there. We want to do the budgets, ongoing maintenance, and then we want to make sure we're listing the quotes. For the construction, this doesn't mean you're in contract with them. It just is identifying those quotes that are going to be available. So we have all of these that are green, and we're going to come down and we're going to click this box, but why isn't this highlighted? Did anyone catch it? So when you don't see that, when this isn't highlighted, it's because you missed something. So it's a great time to go up and see if you missed anything. Aha, I have a red. So I forgot to save this. So the application will stop you and make you go back and review your answers and your questions or your documents to make sure everything uploaded. Now, if we go to the bottom, we're going to see that it says submit and finalize my submission. So you're going to submit, and two things are going to happen. You're going to get this information. It's going to open a new page, and then you're going to see a whole new, you're going to receive an email. So your email is going to let you know that this was received on this date for this time. The name, this is going to be for Senior Center Alternate 2. And then it's going to tell you what requested documents were uploaded, the requested questionnaire, and then the data. It's not going to give the information you list. It's just going to say that it was submitted successfully. Then at the bottom, it'll give you your confirmation ID, and then if you have any questions. But if you go to this page, it actually tells you what you answered. So I recommend that you go in and you print this page, save it as a PDF or wherever you need to. You can save it as a PDF and put it in that file folder for that specific application. That's my recommendation to everybody. But as you go through, it's going to notice everything, all of your questions. It's going to give you the same confirmation code. You can download all the files. I'm not sure why they have that, but you can. And then if you need to send me an email because you had an issue, you can just send one directly from there. But also, right now I'm getting a don't forget. You have another work in progress submission for this progress. So for this project that needs to be completed. If you're filling out multiple projects, Bonfire will remind you that you have one waiting that you haven't submitted yet. So this is where you would find that. And then it'll tell you to return to the portal listing for that one project. If you want to provide your feedback, this is a great place to do that. But let's say you printed this out, you feel really confident with yourself, and then you realize that you entered some wrong information here. Don't worry, you can go in and click to unsubmit your submission as long as the application is open. So you have until February 3rd at midnight to go in and unsubmit your submission, go in and make those corrections and resubmit. If you identify that there was a problem in the application, the application is closed, you can't go in and make any changes. But don't worry, hopefully we'll notice those and we'll be in contact with you to follow up so you can correct those and submit the documents that we need. Generally, those are for planning and design or quotes, or sometimes it's the ICIP. We're not showing the correct ICIP or the correct question set. So this is the process. Like I mentioned in the manual, we go through and we have at the very end, see, I go through and give you all of that information. So again, don't worry, whatever I just said, I've made sure to print it out for you guys so it's available for you. But we gave you guys a checklist. So download this and print as many times as you need. If you're going to be doing 3 for planning and design, just write, Senior Center 1, Senior Center 2, Senior Center 3. So that way you make sure you have your documents. And it's not as easy as it looks. There's a lot of time and commitment and effort that you guys put into this. But right now, is there any questions? No? Are we sure? All right. Well, emails are going to be going out, notifying you guys about the application, and I'm going to be following up with one every week to make sure you guys are staying on top of your applications, because before you know it, it's going to be January, February, and then you guys are going to be in a time crunch and you guys are going to be submitting all of your applications. If you find something in the manual that doesn't match, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always available. You have my email address. Let me go ahead and also put that in the chat so you have that available quickly. I'm going to put actually NM aging. Wait. Is it horrible that I forgot our webpage? Let me go ahead and put that in as well. I'm just going to print, copy, and paste. So this will take you directly to our webpage. So I make sure if you haven't yet, that you want to make sure that you have our page bookmarked. That's really weird. You try that again, slowly. And then my email address. And my phone number is 505-316-8900. If there isn't any questions, I'll give you back 17 minutes of your time of your workday. I know most of you are already done with your work, so I appreciate you staying on for this training. This will be uploaded within the next day or two and be available for you to refer back to. I appreciate you guys and good luck on all of your applications. Thank you.